Welcome to this Q&A. Why do we observe the seventh-day Sabbath here at Yahweh's Restoration Ministry? Well, the answer is quite simple. We find Sabbath observance in the Old and New Testament. Matter of fact, Yahshua not only spoke about the Sabbath during his ministry, but also gave a prophetic warning in his Olivet prophecy for the last days, referring to the Sabbath. In Matthew chapter 24, verse 20, he said this. He said, "But pray you that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day." In addition to the Messiah, we also find that the Apostle Paul observed the Sabbath in the New Testament. We find examples of this all throughout the book of Acts. For example, in Acts chapter 17, verse 2, we find this. It says, "And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the Scriptures." Whereas we note in the Restoration Study Bible, 3 Sabbaths refers to 3 consecutive Sabbaths. We also see here that it was his manner or custom to worship on the Sabbath. Many believe that Paul changed the day of worship from Saturday to Sunday. No matter how hard you might search, you will not find evidence for such a belief. We also find this in Acts chapter 18, verse 4. It says, "And he reasoned, Paul, in the synagogue every Sabbath, and persuaded," listen, it says, "the Jews and the Greeks." Notice here that it says that he persuaded both Jews and Greeks. Many say that the Sabbath is only for the Jews. Or we see evidence here, though, that contradicts this notion. The Sabbath is for all of mankind. Matter of fact, we find an incredible prophecy in the book of Isaiah. And we see there that the Sabbath is not only for one nation or one people, but for all of mankind. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 23 reads, "And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, says Yahweh." Where this passage is referring to the coming kingdom, also called the millennium. At this time, the Bible confirms that all flesh will be required to observe the Sabbath. You see, the Sabbath was hallowed and sanctified by Yahweh in the Old Testament as the day of rest. Any other day is nothing more than a counterfeit. Well, I pray that this word has been a blessing to you, and as always, we would encourage you to prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. Until next time, may Yahweh bless you. Bye-bye.